Hi there, welcome to another edition of Shaman's Guitars. Very exciting it will be too. You might have watched my last video which I did last week, which is of this spectacularly full of personality Hohner, spectacularly heavy as well, but it did have some lovely tones in it once we found them, so go and have a look at that video if you haven't seen that one already. Now, as you can see today we have got something possibly a little bit more, well, a bit more valuable, let's put it that way, a bit more straightforward. A couple of things before we get going with this guitar. It's a very hot day, as you can see, the exposure's all over the place, so if you can't see me, I'm sorry about that, probably for the best anyway. The windows are open, so if you get the sounds of traffic going past or birdsong or casual murder, that's the reason why. And I have just been to work and told that I wasn't needed because it's actually my day off, which I forgot about, so I've come back in and doing a video instead. So anyway, without further ado, let me introduce you to this. Here we are. I'll show the camera. This obviously is a Fender Strat. Now, let's have a look and see if we can get that focused in there. So as you can see, it says E328 blah 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 on the serial number, which is a 1983 serial number. Some of your eagle-eyed people will be starting to make your conclusions already about what this actually is. The neck, you can see a little bit of mojo going on just here. It doesn't seem to, you can't really, it's just, they can't really feel that. Otherwise, not bad for what is now a guitar that is basically 25 years old. And here we have the body. Now this, I'm going to tell you what it is in a minute, but obviously pretty standard Strat type stuff, a little dusty maybe. Again, just can't really, there's a couple of dings on the back here. There's one there. Quite thin actually, the coating. I think it's just plastic, poly. There's a ding on the end as well there. Nothing too much to see here. The smell smells like your granddad's crotch. It's obviously been played in a pre-smoking ban pub. It's not too bad though, it doesn't pong, it's just if you get close. Bridge is kind of unusual, slightly, I think, maybe. Trem, of course. And this one came with its trem arm, wonder of wonders, which I think I said in another video I'd never had one with a trem arm. I think this is probably the only one. Yeah, so not in bad nick really. Now the thing is with this one, let me show you. Well, let me tell you, I should say. The neck and the body do not have the same serial number, that's for certain. The serial number inside the body I think is an E2 something or other, and the one on the end is an E3. So as I was saying, the eagle-eyed amongst you might notice that this body is actually a Dan Smith. I think there's something to do with this area here and the kind of cutaway. It's distinctive. It's just pretty nice to play. It's comfortable. So the body is a proper Dan Smith. I've taken I can put maybe some pictures on the video in a little while after I've finished. But it does have, there's a yellow wire coming off the bridge pickup, which I think indicates what they call an X1 pickup, which gives it a little bit, I think it's a bit of a hotter pickup than what they'd used before. Everything looks factory on the underneath of the pick guard, but this neck is not the correct neck, strictly speaking, for a Dan Smith, original Dan Smith body. The Dan Smith ones have quite a curly, kind of large Stratocaster thing here. They also, crucially, have the truss rod at the bottom here, and this has a truss rod adjustment at the top. So the mystery is how these two, body and neck, have come together. They seem to fit quite nicely. Now what you haven't got, interesting enough, on this pick guard here, you haven't got a cutaway for the truss rod for the neck that should be on the guitar, if you follow me. So the neck that should be on the guitar should have an adjustment at the bottom, and it would have a little cutout on the pick guard so that you can get your Allen key in there. But this one doesn't have it, but if you look underneath the pick guard, it looks very, very correct in terms of the tape they use and the shielding and all the wiring, all that sort of stuff. So it doesn't look as if it's a new pick guard that someone else has installed these pickups on. So there's a few theories. Either it's possible it's one of the last ones when they were transitioning to, you know what they call the Dan Smith era, which had two knobs and the jack socket was here. So the two knobber, it's got it's got a two knobber neck. I don't suppose anyone's ever used that phrase before. A two knobber neck. So it's possible that it's a transition model with a full-on Dan Smith body, but the two knob neck. So that could be the very last Dan Smith ever made if it's from the factory. Perhaps there's another suggestion been made on the internet that someone perhaps took the bits and pieces home and over a course of a few weeks or months or even years and constructed the guitar at home from some bits. Or perhaps, I don't know, the neck got broken and whoever it was rebuilt the thing. Anyway, we don't really know. It's either a very rare factory mistake, or it's kind of a parts caster with a Dan Smith body and a Dan Smith two knob neck. So that's what it is. It weighs a ton. I mean, I was talking about the, oh God, Lord. So I was talking about how heavy this one is last time. Oh, they're about the same. Ridiculous. Yeah, they're pretty much the same. So £9.5. This one's £9.5. This one is £9.5, I would say. I haven't bothered to weigh it actually. Maybe could do. Because this is for sale, I don't need it. I've got another Strat, I've got a Bacchus that I use. This is... it's not that valuable, it's probably worth four figures. But I don't really want to take it. To gigs, it's too heavy, too expensive, etc. So, I want to get rid of it, I want to sell it, I'll whatever someone will give me for it. I think the bodies and the pickups are worth quite a lot on their own, and then you've got a nice Fender neck. It comes with a hard case, and it does come with the whammy bar as well. So I'll play some bits and pieces. It sounds pretty good. We can maybe compare it to the Hendrix Mexican Strat as well. So we're playing through the Katana again, which is just it's a good reference point, I would say. So that's the neck pickup. Might keep put a little bit of a booster on because we could give a bit of gain on the old channel 2. That's the neck pickup. And the in between. It's the law when you put it on that setting, number 4, you have to play a bit of Dire Straits, possibly Hendrix. Middle, the underrated middle pickup on a Strat, I love it. Second position. Nice, yeah, and bridge. So this is, as I say, what's called the X1 bridge pickup, so it's supposed to be a bit hotter. Not too keen on Strat bridge pickups as they are, in clean I should say, really. Tubescreamer. There we are. So the question for me is it collectible? I suppose it's gonna everything. Isn't it the rule of guitars that the older they are, the more valuable they are, even if they're rubbish? As long as it says 1967 on the internet for that particular serial number, oh yeah, it's got to be worth thousands of pounds. So as far as I can see, it's only a matter of time before 80s bow tankers that smell like your granddad's crotch. Well, I should say your granddad's pipe ashtray, that's probably more like it, but his crotch smelled like that because he kept dropping his ash down his trousers. Yeah, so it's surely only a matter of time before these ones just go up in value all the time. As I said, I think the body itself is worth quite a bit. Right, so anyway, I'm going to compare it to the 60s reverse headstock Strat in a sec. So that's the neck pickup. When I say 60s, I mean 60s reissue, of course. Made by Pedro. It's up to you. I think that actually did have a bit more personality, a bit more brighter actually at the top end. I'll do the bridge pickup as well. And I did just tune that a minute ago. Swap over, bridge pickup. They are similar, actually. They've both got 9s on. I would probably prefer 10s in a way, although it is quite nice to have. I've got my other Strat, my Bacchus, has got 10s on, and it does make you work a bit harder. These with 9s have got that quite sort of light, really accessible Stratty feeling, as that's cool. I don't know if it's just me, but these pickups in this one sound a little quieter. And a little bit less toppy, so perhaps the magnets presumably they're Alnico magnets, so it may have lost a little bit of strength over the intervening period, one might surmise. There we have it. Excuse the wrong notes there. I think I did 3 horrible bummers. However, you get the gist. It sounds nice. It does. It sounds nice. I think it has a tone. It is that little bit older sounding. I think, by the way, they're cleaning the streets for the first time in a year outside. Typical timing. Yeah, I think it does sound a little bit. I think, yeah, a little bit less toppy than the more modern Strat. Which you could say sounds a bit older. I don't know. I'm no ex. Who am I? Who am I to say? Anyway, I will just give you another look at this because it is for sale, and if you do have arms strong enough to hold a 9.5 pound guitar for a gig or whatever, then this is the one for you. So, 3-ply scratch plate. Here's the body. There are 2 dings on the back of it, and a few sort of surface scratches. There's obviously that one there, which doesn't really. It's hardly got any sort of depth to it. Oh, maybe there's just the one ding. Yeah. Back the thing, the triple ply thing is there. There's a rubber gasket on the F there. I don't know if you can see that. There we are. Tobacco. I think these are kind of strap lock type pins, aren't they? Front, I mean, what it all looks originally, a sort of slight discoloration going on all the bits and pieces, on the volume and tone and whatnot. And yeah, so the neck, so what I will do, can I try and get some of the reflections going on here? So, it's nicely lacquered, the fretboard. There's a few kind of scratches, but the frets are actually quite good. I wonder whether it has been not necessarily refretted, but you know, dressed at some point, because I don't know if I can sort of get you to see it under there. There's not really anywhere at all, actually. Maybe it has been refretted, I don't know. Or just hasn't been used. So the thing that you notice straight away is that bit of missing lacquer just under there, which you can't feel it really at all. It's just gone a little bit discoloured. So anyway, I don't know whether that's something that bothers people. And yeah, so we've got a serial number, as you can see, E328947. I'll try and put up some pictures in the video, actually, of the insides when I got it. I took some pictures of the insides. So and it does have a sticker inside with a different serial number, so goodness knows how that's all happened. So back of the neck. Oh, yeah, there's a tiny mark there. The neck's pretty decent. Just this is very, very, very fine sort of bumps and whatnot. Yeah. So anyway, 1982/83 Fender Strat. So this is. Well, where did they start off? Fullerton, isn't it? That it was they were still at Fullerton before they moved to Corona. So it's kind of one of the. What did they do? They did these ones. They did some reissues as well. So obviously this isn't the reissue. So this is the Dan Smith. And then they did the 2-knobber. Oh, sorry. Can't stop laughing when I say that. And then they shut down, didn't they? And then I might come on. I think you have seen the Japanese 85 telly that I've got, which is lovely. I think I did use that on the first Katana video, and that was kind of made when the American factory was basically on its knees and they weren't making any. So this is one of the last to come out, not the last, but one of the last to come out of Fullerton before they did the 2-knob and before they did the reissue. So one of the last kind of standard, maybe the last standard Strat that they made in Fullerton. Anyway, that's enough of me waffling. I'm going to sell this on Reverb or something for probably $12.50, something like that. That's what I want for it. So if you're interested, have a look on there. Thanks for watching. Cheers.